Hello and welcome back. As you'll recall, Giselle Brett just revealed that she had some... So, to summarize what happened, there was a woman that was with Dr. Wilson at the restaurant when he was killed. And that was a big issue with the other witnesses and such in the beginning. And then in the last episode, we found out Giselle Brett has more involvement than she let on. So, at the very end of the last episode... we saw the professor's assistant show up and dropped some bombshell evidence. Now we're going to find out what happens next, because I have no clue, and I hope you don't either, if you're watching this. If you do, then please don't spoil in the comments. Nobody ever comments, though. Alright, so we're getting started, we're excited, and here we go. Well, I understand you're a judicial assistant to the defense, but why is this sudden ingress into my courtroom? A judicial assistant, and a woman no less. The rules state that females are not permitted in this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. I only ask for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
Ha, you're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency...
I'm most grateful.
That's my Susato voice.
That's
me. Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something? Written in English.
It's Giselle Brett's research.
The English woman's?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case?
I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh no, of course not. Special characteristics of curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curare, never mind. Curare, I think. Yeah, because curare... Okay, so they use curare for, like, it's like toxic darts. If I remember correctly. It's not curare, it's curare. Something's up with this stand thingy I'm using. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties again. Sorry about that. Alright, there we go. I fixed my stand. Hopefully I don't have to fix that again. Special characteristics of curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curare, what's that? I never heard that word before. Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail. But I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it.
This is wonderful. Thank you. Giselle's report. Okay.
Goodbye, then, and good luck.
You've had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I asked the prosecution of the defense one last time. Let me read that. Poison made in the bark, South America. Hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minutes. Above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed the toxin could have some application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for respiratory arrest caused as a result of full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Aha! That's the poison. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett?
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not very long until tea time. I have to politely decline.
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize this was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. Show counsel. What is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? Here we go. Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you are studying under Dr. Wilson at the Yume University, doing research. Research by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel? The toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
What complete and utter nonsense! Curare, you say? I never even heard of it.
Sorry, I wanted to freeze her right there. You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of the curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country.
It doesn't exist.
Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order! Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report, authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
This report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Trumpery! These aspirations are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners surely would have noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector?
Obviously, I wouldn't have noticed a disturbance like that.
I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that the curare was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all.
How terrible.
Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects would go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. Excuse me. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail.
Respiration?
In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison?
This is all very convenient, isn't it? Hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing? What a happy tale for the defense.
If I may.
All these facts, you think you're so clever, but you must be taught some...
Shut up! It is you who must be taught.
Of course. Dear lady.
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it?
What?
You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results of it as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act.
Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual.
Whatever do you mean?
Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
Ha 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 ha!
What's so funny?
Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see, why not? She gonna break it? Use a knife? Bottle knife? Oh, she gonna drink it?
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Sorry.
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your poor little police games and those foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. Ha-ha! But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers!
Is she gonna drink it herself? Will she die? Why am I asking you? Wait! What are you doing?
No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, no curare. The bottle was clean, is that what you were saying?
Ha 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 ha! You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with the assistance you've given. Oh, this doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how did she swallow the whole glass and lived? Oh my God! I'm starting to change voices. How did she swallow the whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
Ooh, there has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Ryunosuke, we have all the clues now. A bottle of water. Gosh. My controller's falling. Is it contains poison? It contains poison, I guess. The culprit did put curare poison in Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious. Fool, are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Brett drinking the water from it.
That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think.
And I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? Sorry, my throat's messed up. Sure, the answer is that it has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness... The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report. That's not a valid explanation. No. After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest. I'm just reading Sasato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered entirely by the court. Directed to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to the riddle? Let me look at it, actually. Gammon. Aha! Special characteristics. Through a wound. We've been hearing a lot about the curare poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel? Well, it sounds as though the indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years. To lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So I've been led to believe, yes. And The point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Council! No, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew curare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself.
You meddling little
It's a live bird.
rapscallion!
Well, Inosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it possibly...
Shut up! So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he's read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly.
What are you trying to say?
Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw.
Schoolboyish? Flaw?
As even your brain has managed to deduce, this curare is safer to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by an acidic nature of the gastric succus.
Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they?
So if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
Ah,
That's right.
good gracious.
That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no?
Order in the court, order. Wait, let me check something. Logicals, if the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected the same way. Are you trying to suggest...
Yes, this curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial.
That's right! Surely even a little cockroach like you can understand something as simple as that!
What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Objection! Oh my god, yeah, he said it! Ha 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 ha! I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett.
How dare you use that tone with me?
You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You were alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead.
Huh?
Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we know, this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare? Photograph of the victim. Okay, that's not it. That's not it either. Let me check. So that's not going to work. Oh, his tooth! The tooth that he had! Oh my god! Yeah, he had the open wound. And no, I didn't look at a guide this time. The last one I looked at a guide for, like, for a second. But no, this one I figured out the tooth. Remember the tooth, Duke Leto. The tooth. The tooth. Ow, get down, cat. As Miss Brett is so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? Huh? The toxic effects of curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes. Like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Oh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Ugh! So that's it. You used the knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing?
I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are so puerile.
What do you mean?
Don't worry, little schoolboy, you'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it.
No!
I mean, it could just slip.
Ooh, that dirty bitch.
Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed.
No! No! Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water in that broken bottle as possible, at once.
You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it.
Oh no, I can do the Karen laugh for her. Oh, there you go. How could you? You won't get away with this.
You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not.
You.
Let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Oh, of course, of course. A friend of this photographic print, I presume, dear lady.
That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
No, you killed the victim that day, using curare. And then in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime. You waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then in confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Ugh. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now... Is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene.
Ryunosuke,
Yes?
we've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it.
What? What do you mean?
We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head.
In my head?
You told me before that your powers of observation were one thing you could really depend on.
Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice this woman was a foreigner in a swan hat with a swan hat on her head.
So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell.
What I saw, what I felt. Every color.
Aha! Blood! There's blood there. That wasn't in the photo before.
Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer?
There is a clue. It's the blood.
Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have just uncovered another clue.
You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on, then. Let's wipe that smug file off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence.
Alright, I can't wait. Alright, I can't wait, that's better. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... blood.
Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this.
Yes? What is it? Oh, he's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Wait a minute. Where are you going with the...
Where are you going with this little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in the photograph print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was carved on was a spattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that the blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him.
Ah!
Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter, which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were.
Giselle Brett?
I beg your pardon? This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something like the accused is apparently just remembered seeing?
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate, in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that a sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately.
Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak.
Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector, the blood man. Show the court.
Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure.
Or leisure would be British. That's the wrong plate.
No, no blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's
impossible!
I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. My swan even makes fun of you. Ha! My swan is laughing. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you.
Ah! I couldn't agree more. In this case of disgrace to the Empire.
In the case of this disgrace, excuse me. I believe we may have finally reached a conclusion in this trial.
Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over.
Oh wow, I've been playing this for a while.
Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If sorry-looking accused witness wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination?
Could be the wrong plate because the other guy was eating steak too.
So now I've lost.
Ryunosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gavel.
Huh?
Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what.
Believe in myself. Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself.
The evidence requested by the defense had not been shown in problematic anyway. I presume that further examination of the evidence will be unnecessary.
Which trial for me?
There's another clue. Because it's cut differently than the other steak was too. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth. Oh, go away, Ouchie.
The only thing that's shocking me here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak.
Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
Sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
I see. A newly affirmed ally of my country that's still your position. Is it?
Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court what you're alluding. Aha!
Huh? What in the world is this?
I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark from the Hoei era, I believe.
And I mean, what is it? I mean, what's it doing here?
Oh. Cliffhanger. I'm gonna have to quit in a second. Yes, and apart from the meat juice, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today there's been talk about Hoei Koban. I've heard pearls before swine, but never heard of bouillon in bouillon. And I don't think you ever will again. It's extraordinary, though. This means... Got it! Good gracious, that's... Koban? What on earth? A Hoei one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? I was gonna cliffhanger, but I'll finish it. Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meal?
What a ridiculous question! How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what it is, but I want no part of it. I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake made by the chef at the moment of distraction.
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen. A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. As if this turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel. A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
I'm gonna stop you. No one invited you anyway. Well, eat a dick, dude. I'm sorry. I hate that dude. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant.
Even though I'm the one on trial here? The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what's going on, what it's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of this Koban coin is that guy. I think. Yep. He was looking for it. That old guy was looking for it. Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of the Rasute, Kyoryu Korakuta-san.
Kiri as in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable.
Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with this Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interests me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hoei Koban, my prized coin. Then the Hoei Koban, do you mean to tell me?
No, please. Why would Korakuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Which is why I'm asking you to bring Korakuta-san back at the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. Can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it's a key element in the case. Oh, the witness stand keeps getting longer. That's cool. Hello again. What's this about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for my little baby Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs forced to bear false witness. In one cast from this courtroom, myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this rusty shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Korakuda-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rosh-Kute memory serves, have you ever... What? Yes, that's it. The one, the very one. The very exact one, that is. There was splendiferous Hoi treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace on that fateful day. It can't be. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found it in your coin sandwich between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking the seasoned meat juices. It's a sandwich soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hoi treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate? Who would do such a thing, such an unconscionable thing? Excuse me. Can I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hoshinaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation. The Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thieves targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent it undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole this, stolen his all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Della, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Korakuda-san's Koban and hid it under the stake? I think it's the sergeant guy. Or aha! Because it was his stake. Obviously, it can only be you, Sergeant Isaya Nosa. What? How? How dare you, you monster! Monster? I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of the Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me, it was Ido. Ido's the mastermind behind all this. It's his son. You would push the blame on your crimes for your crimes on your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. Oh. Clippity clop. Oh. Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. Gah! Oh, damn. Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Iyasanosa. Report, preparing to stand in Supreme Court, sir. What? What the hell? Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays that's expected to keep our country safe? I had a shot at the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently extended conflict remains in place. Ended conflict remains in place. And I have heard it's hard for lower-ranking shoulders to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things in the restaurant? The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I'd go in there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. Sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even. Which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. Alright, we're taking a break. I'm sorry, everybody. Cliffhanger. Thanks for watching. I will be back at some point soon. Thank you.